Howdy Indie Warriors, and welcome to I Dream of Indie Games. My name is Gamer Joe, coming at you again with 40 new, awesome looking indie game releases for the week of September 30th through October 4th of 2024. Spooky season is officially underway, so hopefully that means lots of fun horror games on the horizon. On the topic of Halloween, what's your favorite Halloween candy? Let us know in the comments below. Alright, before we get into all of the indie releases for this week, we'd like to take a moment to thank our wonderful indie sponsor, Kamatayan Works. They've got a demo available right now for their upcoming release, Rollin' with the Punches. This physics platformer looks to pack one hell of a punch as you bash a ball through dangerous and precarious situations. Your goal sounds simple enough, to reach the end of each track. But it won't be so easy, I assure you. Your bouncy ball falling off of a ledge will send it all the way back to the start of a level and totally kill your mood in the process. Be fast, be swift, and you just might make it through okay. These 10 levels will have you relying on your fists of fury to punch the ball from the correct angle. It's not just about punching balls, however. Ooh, that sounds painful. No, you will need to rely on your platforming skills as well. Many of those platforms will raise and lower like elevators, and so you'll have to carefully navigate both you and the ball simultaneously, almost adding a bit of a puzzle element to the game. Here at I Dream of Indie Games, we love small creative indies such as this, and even cooler, the demo is on itch.io for this one. We're so used to Steam releases here that it's a bit refreshing to have a game that's on itch for a change. So get ready to platform and punch your way through Rollin' with the Punches. It will be releasing hopefully soon. In the meantime, get this one on your radar by using the link in our description box below. Heading over to the itch page means that you can start punching balls right now with a download of the free demo. Maybe in the sequel you get to kick nuts? Once again, a very special thank you to Kamatayan Works for sponsoring this week's video. Please use the link in the description box below and check out the demo for Rollin' with the Punches for yourself. Alright, now you know what time it is, everybody. Let's roll into the indies. First up on the 30th is Zoochosis, a uniquely deranged looking horror title where you play as a zookeeper whose animals are mutating into eldritch monstrosities. Luckily, not all is lost. Identify the source of infection, develop a vaccine, and cure these creatures of the grotesque symptoms that plague them. While the concept is bound to turn some heads in its own right, Zoochosis' emphasis on player choice and multiple endings should mean plenty of replayability for those who can't get enough of horrifying giraffe spiders that can climb their way up a wall. Eesh. Let's move on to something a bit less horrifying. For that, we turn to Silence of the Siren, a colorful-looking strategy game launching into early access on September 30th. Scavenge resources from abandoned ruins, build up your bases with the tech you find, and take out a wide variety of enemies in turn-based combat. Despite being early access, Silence of the Sirens launches with an estimated 30 hours of content, so turn-based strategy aficionados will want to scoop this up for plenty of sci-fi spacefaring. Our next release might look familiar to some of you folks out there, as it's actually more of an updated re-release. OneShot World Machine Edition is an updated version of the 2016 classic that's built on an entirely new engine and comes with Steam Deck support this time. With exploration-focused puzzles, some great pixel art, and a fascinating story, OneShot World Machine Edition is bound to be worth a look for fans of the original release and newcomers alike. I believe there's a review lurking around the channel somewhere of the original release. Next, we have another turn-based title now with Pirates. Rogue Waters is a nautically themed tactical roguelite where you'll set sail on treacherous seas as Captain Cutter, a pirate that's hunting down treasures and building up his crew while being caught in a deadly power struggle. You can recruit pirates from 6 unique classes and upgrade their skills to bolster their fighting and sailing prowess between runs. Let's hope Rogue Waters delivers on its seafaring action when it releases on September 30th. Next up, we're going to go to the Patriotic War, a tactical top-down shooter in a low-poly art style aiming to be the type of war game we don't see too often. A mix of ground and vehicular combat, numerous modes of play like a campaign mode, and a separate RPG mode are here, plus the promise of future custom content. Those looking for a strategic war shooter should definitely give this one a look. Worried that not enough turn-based titles are launching this week? Well, worry no further, as Tenebris, Terra Incognita will be launching into early access. Tenebris is a turn-based tactical RPG inspired by titles like XCOM and Darkest Dungeon, aiming to provide a challenging experience set in a gloomy sci-fi universe. The heroes you recruit will come from one of 5 basic classes, but can evolve to incorporate characteristics of more advanced classes as they level up. We'll see where Tenebris Terra Incognita lands when it launches on the 30th. Build up your gnome village while sending your gnomes on runs through the underground caves to bring back valuable resources. As your village thrives, you'll unlock new gnome abilities, buildings, upgrades, and biomes. Those looking for an interesting genre mashup should definitely check this one out. Wow, there's a lot going on in this title. NEODUEL Backpack Monsters is an inventory auto-battler with creature collector elements where you'll make your way up the leagues to become the ultimate Cosmian Master. But interestingly enough, the focus here is on multiplayer. See if you have what it takes to wield the power of the Cosmians on September 29th. Now for something a little more, flashy. The Sonny Legacy Collection is a remaster of classic Flash games Sonny 1 and Sonny 2. For those unfamiliar with the original versions of these RPGs, you play as Sonny, a zombie seeking to learn about his existence in a world where nothing is ever quite as it seems. Turn-based combat and a deep story await you if you dare to take the plunge. I know we all love indie games here, but have you ever wanted to be an indie game developer without spending the thousands of hours it takes to make your own game? Well, maybe check out Game Builder Tycoon, a management title where you play as an indie game developer looking to create the next big hit. With tons of customization options for your character and office space, as well as features and genres unlockable through research, Game Builder Tycoon looks set to help fans of indie devs live precariously through their eyes. Alright, I love seeing more spooky games because it means spooky season is upon us. And if you get tired of tending to mutant animals, maybe give The Devil Is in the Details a shot. This is an interesting mashup of survival horror, escape room, and the recently popular anomaly detection subgenres, and sees you trapped in a nightmarish mansion where you'll have to explore while trying to solve puzzles and survive. It looks like there's some terrifying creature design in play here, so I have no doubt that what's here will be plenty appropriate for the season. Time for a party-based action RPG in Banquet for Fools, launching this week into early access. You'll explore the open-world island of Invimina, with companions whose dialogue will change depending on their stats. In addition to a dark fantasy narrative, Banquet for Fools offers a focus on exploration and navigating its world, musical combat abilities, and immersive features like getting a bounty on your head if you're caught committing crimes. This looks like a very unique RPG to sink your teeth into, so we'll be eager to see how it develops through early access. Alright, the name may be utilitarian, but Block Strategy sure as hell knows exactly what it wants to be. This is a real-time strategy tower defense hybrid with fully destructible features that can very literally shape the battlefield around you. Build up your base, make sure your reactor has enough fuel, and don't let that robot army get too close. Those looking for an extra destructive take on the tower defense genre will not have to wait long for this one. We can't go a week without a new Metroidvania, can we? Of course not. What kind of indie channel would we be? The Throne is a medieval Metroidvania with a striking 2.5D pixel art style that makes it quite the looker. The horrible orc leader Bodrak has taken over the kingdom, and it's up to you to save it. Loot your enemies, upgrade your equipment, and unlock clever shortcuts as you make your way through this sprawling castle when The Throne releases also on the 30th. Up next, Half-Baked Girls. It's a turn-based RPG looking almost like an indie take on Persona. Renee is a teenager who runs away from home only to find herself trapped in a haunted mansion. When she teams up with Mitka, another girl who is trapped inside, you'll need to work together to unveil the mansion's mysteries and hopefully escape with your lives. Featuring turn-based combat and a short-form story filled with interesting side quests, Half-Baked Girls should be on the radar for any JRPG enthusiasts out there. Okay, we had The Throne, but here comes the first October game of the week, Throne and Liberty. This is a free-to-play MMORPG launching on multiple platforms and featuring the ability to transform into various creatures. Throne and Liberty promises large-scale combat, a seamless open world, and dynamic environments. Let's hope it can deliver an experience MMO players will stick around for. A zombie virus has broken out, the city is under quarantine, and you've missed the evacuation convoy. Work with other survivors to live through the zombie apocalypse and wait to be rescued. To help keep you and your crew from going undead, you'll construct defense for your camp, plant some crops, and do whatever you can to make your way through this dark, destroyed world. Survive the zombie apocalypse when Dread Dawn launches on the 30th. Alright, get those zombies out of here. It's time to show something for our cozy gamers out there. Cozy Keep has you living day to day as a medieval shopkeeper. You'll customize your shop, hunt for resources to sell, and save your father from the merciless king. Between resource collection, maintaining your own farms, and crafting new items from your collected materials, this one looks like it has a ton to do and should keep cozy gamers pretty busy in the coming weeks. It's rare you see an indie horror game quite as disturbing as Endoparasitic, and even more rare you see two of them. That's right, Endoparasitic 2 brings back your favorite one-armed crawling tortured soul for another survival horror experience where you'll drag yourself around an airship fighting monsters and gathering resources to escape. Continuing a staunch commitment to its gruesome one-handed mechanics, Endoparasitic 2 is controllable only with the mouse, with even things as simple as reloading your gun being a manual one bullet at a time exercise. With a crafting system, inventory management, and the constant delightful knowledge that a parasite is burrowing into your brain, Endoparasitic 2 is shaping up to be as dreadful an experience as its predecessor. Sticking with the horror theme, we next have Daemonologie, a really striking looking piece of nightmare fuel if I do say so myself. This is a folk horror story about the Scottish witch trials where you must determine truth from lies and decide who is a witch, knowing that if anyone refuses to cooperate, a bit of painful persuasion will be on the table. I'm definitely curious to see what secrets this one has in store and won't have to wait long to find out. Moving, it's one of my least favorite things to do in the world, but unfortunately I've done it countless times throughout my life, and I'm sure I will again. So the idea of moving in a video game doesn't sound all that much fun to me, but hey, who am I to judge? There's an interest in this title, okay? This is a physics-based game where you'll need to move and arrange things, but wait a second though, not everything is as it seems, as something's not quite right here. Yeah, this is a horror game, wow. I went from not wanting to play this at all to instantly adding it to my wishlist, and if you're a fan of horror games and looking for something a bit different, you should consider doing the same. Now wait a second, this isn't the Goldilocks I remember. Goldilock 1 Boss Arena is a free-to-play title that will have you battling through waves of enemies and acts as a precursor of sorts to the main game, Goldilock 1 The Mists of Jakira. That one's going to be releasing at a later date. Be careful because it's not just enemies you'll need to be concerned with in this title, as massive bosses exist in this world that are ready to ruin your day. Don't let them do so though, and take them out. Why not after all, it's free. Entering early access and right on time for Halloween is The Killing Antidote, a horror game that will have you cracking spooky puzzles. But it's also a shooter. A nasty virus is overtaking mankind. You'll play as Jody, who seeks out the antidote that could save humanity. With gameplay taking place from the third-person view, players can expect a good challenge here, and fun clothes to dress your lead character in. The game will also feature a few battle modes. Get ready for some intense arcade action shooting next with the release of Kill Knight. This action shooter has a dark theme if it wasn't obvious, and will offer intense challenges as you battle monsters through hell and back. Use a variety of weapons, survive the abyss while taking in the visceral, simplistic visuals that call back to the good old days. With 5 arenas to survive, it won't be easy, but never give up. Kill Knight is coming to us from Playside. It's another week and another city builder, of course, no surprise there. Settlements Rising will enter early access and has you creating your very own city while carefully managing resources. Take care of your people, ride out the storm, trade and make amazing deals. And you know how this genre works by now, right? The game will also feature enhancement cards, so if it looks at all interesting to you, be sure to toss it on your wishlist and check out the available demo. We head from one city to another with Guardians of the Sanctree also launching on the 2nd. Hope I'm not barking up the wrong tree with this release. You'll be building, crafting, and battling back insects in this cute-looking indie. Dig down deep and find the burning spirit inside if you hope to succeed in this world. Will you create the ultimate fort? The good news is, you won't have to survive the tower defense elements alone, as the game allows for co-op play. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Anyone remember that little jingle? I swear I heard it back in school or something like that. Anyways, video games often have us fighting to save the planet, but why not do things a little bit differently in Recycling Center Simulator? This first-person title has you running the show, trying to earn a living through other people's trash. Grow your factory and feel good about yourself while you do it. Hey pinball fans, you don't always get a lot of love here, so this next title should speak to you. How about a self-proclaimed pinballvania called Pinball Spire? After the appearance of a strange spire, it's up to you to solve its many puzzles by blasting your pinball through its labyrinths. You'll play as Pip in this very unique-looking indie release that mixes different genres together, has a good amount of exploration, and even cool new abilities. Sign me up. If you aren't tired of playing defense yet, why not check out Defender Bros, coming to us from Lucky Dart. Your goal in this one is simple: survive for as long as you can. Defend your base like your life depends on it. Use a variety of different commands and attacks, and grow stronger with each run. This one will also feature online co-op play because you know what they say, 2 heads are better than 1. Changing things up a bit, why not relax and have a drink in Liar's Bar? This is an online multiplayer title where you'll play a variety of different games in a barroom setting. From dice to cards, expect the unexpected as you partake in these games through online multiplayer. It seems like the developers are committed to this project as well, with the promise of adding even more games in the future. I like the setting of the game and actually really enjoy playing cards, so I wouldn't mind giving this one a go for myself. Thank you so much for your patience, roguelite fans, but this one will be worth the wait, I assure you. Wizard of Legend 2. The eagerly anticipated sequel will hit early access as well, and features a new 3D visual overhaul different from the original game. Co-op is still an option, however, so fear not, and there are even more spells for players to master. While in early access, co-op will only allow for 2 players, but the developers are working to get that 4-player action going when the full version launches. Cast Earth, Wind, and Fire spells soon, Indie Warriors. For those of you who love your first-person dungeon crawlers, I bring you Monomyth. The game will include a massive world to explore full of secrets, puzzles, monsters to slay, and even allows for unique character builds. This means that you'll have plenty of options as to what kind of character you control through this epic adventure. Learn how to parry and block if you want to stay alive, and be very careful, there are traps everywhere. Lots of surviving this week, if that wasn't obvious. Now we have a Blight to deal with. Get ready for The Last Plague, Blight. Prepare yourself for this dangerous open world that features procedural generation. Survive a vile disease by cooking and crafting. It's survival of the fittest out here. Co-op multiplayer will give you a fighting chance, however, as 2 of you can work together to create a shelter. As the game progresses, expect new story beats, fishing elements, and more. Arcade racing fans, start your engines and get ready for some gorgeous 2.5D action in Victory Heat Rally. From the sleek power slides to the retro rockin' soundtrack and 4-player split screen, the nostalgia is kicking me directly in the feels, and it feels kinda good. With 12 different racers, various modes including Grand Prix, and the ability to personalize your vehicles, this one sounds like it will be finishing in first place. Well, this isn't what I was expecting based on the title. We are next talking about Esports History, an RPG simulation title. You're on a quest to become #1 in the esports scene and will need to compete in a variety of different minigames while managing resources and navigating a talent system. I didn't think I would like this game initially, but now looking at it, I'm kind of interested. For you metalheads out there that want to strap something to your head, get ready for Metal Hellsinger in full VR. This rhythm shooter returns at last, and this time you'll feel more immersed than ever before. Enjoy the original game's campaign and torment challenges completely recreated for VR headsets. Featuring talents from bands such as System of a Down and Lamb of God, this looks like another awesome reason to get back into the headset. Alright, if you're not a VR person, how about hunting down some gnomes? That sounds fun, right? Maybe Gnomes and Knights will satiate that weird craving. This dark fantasy title uses old school graphics and has you navigating a magical forest in an attempt to discover gnomes. The 5 levels will be procedurally generated, and there are also 6 different endings for players to uncover. Yes, folks, this is the indie scene for you. Ha! Alright, after that, let's relax for a while in Garden of the Sea. Hopefully no gnomes in this garden. This cozy little life simulation will be easygoing, allowing you to craft items, meet interesting characters out by the ocean, and grow a garden full of delicious vegetables. No getting stuck or frustrated in this one, just a peaceful and relaxing trip. You can even go for a boat ride and enjoy the vibes. Sounds kind of nice at the moment. Here we are with another card game, and this one's part auto battler. It's called Vestiges, Fallen Tribes, and it will also work on VR headsets. Taking place in a sci-fi world, you'll create a deck of 20 and rely on your wits to succeed. There's no shortage of these games, but there's also not a shortage of people who enjoy playing them, so kind of a win-win if you like the genre. And on to a sci-fi RPG. It's coming to us from DebDev. This is Within the Cosmos. Create your own character in this futuristic world as you level up and acquire new skills. The systems are deep and robust with this one, and the game also features a hacking element. Explore the galaxy and make critical choices in this ambitious-looking indie. Whew, that was a lot of games again, but we hope you found the next indie to add to your library, and as always, thank you so much for supporting independent content.